Welcome back to the Halfpenny Volta podcast. My name is Chris. I'm here once again with my co-hosts
Roberta
and Connor.
And today we have a very special episode to talk about. We're going to talk about The Shining.
The Shining.
For those of you who don't know, The Shining, it was a 1980 iconic psychological horror film directed and produced by Stanley Kubrick, co-written by novelist Diane Johnson. It was based on the novel by Stephen King, starring Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall.
Rest in peace, Shelley.
Rest in peace. She died last year. And Danny Lloyd as the Torrance family. And, of course, we had Scatman Crothers as Dick Halloran. The film is regarded as one of the greatest horror films of all time. And references to it can be found throughout all of pop culture of the last, 4 decades.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to just talk a little bit about the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. Spoiler warning, we're going to spoil the whole goddamn thing. But, yeah, so if you want to watch The Shining and you've never seen it, go watch it now and come back to us. We'll wait. Okay, you're back. There we go. And we're back.
Welcome to The Shining. Yeah. I'll be Jack, Chris, you'll be Shelley, okay. And Connor, you'll be Danny. Okay. Are you ready?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Oh shit, I don't have the music. Boom, 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 boom. You can fast forward this, people.
Well, if they've only just watched The Shining, they know what we're getting into.
Oh yeah, true.
So, the movie opens with the iconic helicopter shots of the mountains, the Colorado mountains, heading up to the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
I just love that every time I see it. I watched it again today, and it's just I kind of want to go there, but also just to outside the hotel and then turn around and live. It's a spectacular vista, as they would say. As I always said, it looks like at one point you can see the Paramount Mountain in the background, but I don't even know. I don't think that's a real mountain. I think that's an actual the Paramount Mountain isn't a real mountain. I think it's a set or a bigature, as they call it in the industry. But yeah, coming across that lake to the little island, moving all the way up, and then you see the hotel itself.
Yeah, even just the way it goes through the bends of the road, and then. I love the camera shots of that whole thing where it's just coming out. It just shows how basically how far out he's going and how the Overlook is very what's the word?
Isolated.
Yeah.
It really builds up from the get go, especially with the main team playing over it. From the get go, it builds a sense of dread from right at the start.
Oh, straight away, but. I do like as well then where I think it shows the normality force of Jack talking to Ullman.
Yeah, well it goes to him walking through the hotel lobby.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the interview room. We see Ullman's office. And it's very casual, very it's just a job interview.
Yeah, I put even as well the scene where he's sitting there and Ullman saying it to him, and he's more or less telling him that he is warning them about the job.
Yeah,
he says about when he's talking about the cabin fever, and then this is where he talks about your man Grady.
Yes.
Where he starts talking about Charles Grady then, and then Jack doesn't know exactly the story, and then he tells him that Grady, the last caretaker, when he was there, he killed his wife and his kids and then shot himself.
Yes.
Which is a lot to take on for an interview.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, he does initially. He does seem.
It's like when you're trying to buy a house.
Yeah, they just won't tell you. There's black mold in the attic, and someone was hacked to fucking pieces in the porch.
Remember did you ever see that scary movie? And it's the kid. They're slagging The Grudge, and then she comes in for the job interview, and then your man is fighting the Grudge Kid in the bathtub.
Yes, yeah.
I was dirty.
So he's talking with Ullman and the guy Watson as well. Watson is there. He's the lawyer, isn't he?
Watson.
Is he not the current
he's like the
caretaker?
maintenance man. Yeah.
Yeah, is he the summer caretaker?
I think
is that
so,
what it is?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he does it, and then he's the one that's basically to show him around.
Yes.
And he's in like a big pissy mood the whole time as well.
Yeah. Which we like. He is a bigger character, but I'll get into that later.
In the book, he
is actually a bit.
He's the owner of the hotel, isn't he? Or his family owned the hotel.
His granddad is like the owner, and he is actually a good bit. And he even he tells him like basically about the boiler.
Yes.
Like at the starting of it and how to work the boiler, and he starts talking about even Ullman. Like Ullman's really nice in the film, but in the book, literally the first page starts off with Jack, with his thoughts being like, this guy's a prick and doesn't like him. But that's what I liked about it though, even with Watson, because Watson does have a big thing, but they don't give him anything in the film. He's just in there, and you still don't know anything. And because like all that other stuff for me, I think that's why I like the film that much. There's no character build with anybody except for the Torrances.
Yes, and Dick, I suppose.
And Dick, yeah, but like Dick has that that really big scene. But of course him. But like everybody else is they're just in there to get in and get out.
Yes,
and just get the feel of like, because even the Overlook even has it, like, as weird as it sounds, it's a different personality with it. Like from the start, how lively it is, and like I don't know, you just wouldn't expect it to be what it is later on in the film. But aside from that, I do like what that scene is. Ullman is talking to Jack, and he's telling him, as I said, like he's explaining the horror story of the guy killing his family, and then it cuts then even to Wendy and Danny.
Yeah, during the interview, it's kind of interspliced with Jack and Danny and Wendy back at home in their apartment, and Danny and Tony. Tony, of course, I can't forget Tony. They are talking. Wendy's asking them the usual stuff you'd ask a kid if their dad was getting an interview. Excited, blah blah blah. Hope he gets the job, and then Tony, already knows.
Tony, exactly. Like it's like as you said, like.
That's a little.
He's sitting down and he's talking to his mom, and he's just eating a bowl of cereal, watching the Roadrunner, and his mom's just like reading her book, having a cigarette, and then they're having this nice little conversation. He's like to his mom,
the longest cigarettes in the world.
Oh, the longest ash in the world. Marge Simpson, fucking bleeding hair coming from the ash. But he's like talking to his mom, and he's like, do you want to go up here and spend the winter there? And she's like, it'd be fun. And what about Tony? And then that's when Tony first says it and goes, I don't want to go up there, Mrs. Torrance. And and then she's like, come on, Tony. And even Shelley at the start, you can tell she's a very like positive person.
Yes, absolutely.
She's real nice, and she's great. And then it cuts back then to Jack. Yeah. And it's the same, and he's more or less, he tells, because it's like a 3.5 hour drive. Yes. He doesn't go back to the family.
Mm-hmm. He calls them from the...
He follows them, but I thought from that scene, I do think that's when I think he has a drink there.
You think so?
I think he has a drink there, I do. I know he says it, he says it later on, but there's a scene about that, I think, later on, where there's just something up with it.
Yeah. Well, I noticed there is definitely an inconsistency with Jack's sobriety throughout, or at least from the beginning, I mean, because... So, while he's having the interview, we see Wendy and Danny at home. Then, after the interview, Jack calls Wendy. While they're on the phone, Danny is in brushing his teeth, talking to Tony. And Tony tells him he's already gotten the job. And that's when Danny has his first vision, which I'll double back to in a sec. But when the doctor shows up, after she checks Danny out, she goes out to talk to Wendy for a bit, and Wendy says, like, when he was 3, Jack broke his arm?
No.
Dislocated his arm?
That's in the book, but in the book, that's in the book, that is, but in the film, it's 5 months. It's only, like, there was 5 months before.
But I could have sworn she said that when he was 3, Jack dislocated his arm, and then she says, and now for the last 5 months he's been sober.
Oh, I don't know. Well, that's what I thought.
Maybe that was just me mishearing.
Because the book,
thinking,
the book is he was 3 years old and he spills beer all over Jack's papers.
Yes, yeah.
That's what he does it. But in the film, then he just basically he said he's like Jack quotes because he's fucking around messing with me papers and I pulled them up. Mm-hmm. But that was the part, for the 5 year, 5 months.
Yeah.
And that's where you go. And then she says, she goes, oh, remember the woman says to Wendy about Danny, about the abuse, and then it goes about breaking his arm.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, it's just one of them things, and
that she didn't know, and it's as we said, like at the beginning, Wendy is very happy and kind of doesn't really seem to like she's a loving wife, a happy wife, but I don't know if she's trying to hide the fact that her husband really wounded their son. Because accidents do happen. I'm sure you're a father, Oh yeah, like, things do happen, but I suppose there's a difference between an accident and drunkenly dislocating your toddler's arm.
Have you heard the theory that like it wasn't just physical, it was like sexual as well?
I've
oh really?
Yeah. I've heard that theory as well.
Because there's a scene later on where he has a magazine and it has like if you zoom in on the cover, it talks about like an incestuous relationship.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and then there's another part. Where what's the woman's name again? Sorry,
Wendy.
She's downstairs in like the boiler room, all the switches and stuff.
Yeah.
If you look on the wall, there's like mad hardcore porno all over the wall.
Jesus. Yeah. Well, that could be due to Watson, though, isn't it?
I've no idea, but apparently it's like, it's basically like ghost pictures. Like they're not actually there. Yeah, she can't see them because she is oblivious to it all.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean? Well, there's like later on, it does get to really realize there's a lot of stuff going on that you mean, but like from the hotel.
Yeah. I think that right from the start, I think we should say there is a lot of theories around not only the film but the film itself. Like there's a lot of different theories of what it means and what is. Might delve into some of that ourselves as well, but it's interesting, like the amount of
it's got a lot
stuff
of like,
this is generated like from a film that like it's not even necessarily from the book itself. It's just from the film, the amount of, as we said, different theories and ideas and
stuff,
Easter eggs
like
Easter eggs and
in that interview, like like Jackie is wearing a toy shaped as a maze.
Yeah. Now I will say, when I was watching it again this morning, I was I was sitting too close to the TV, guys. Don't do that. And the tie is, from far away it does look like it's the actual.
But it's the same as Ullman's, but Ullman's is red. I know that.
Yeah, it is like a pattern tie, but it's not like.
Yeah, it's not exactly.
It looks like hedges.
Yeah.
I suppose it could be a maze, but it's not strictly a maze. So I don't know again if that's just from low quality screenings originally, and then people coming up with it, because a lot of the time like that as well. Like a lot of the theories that I saw while doing a bit of research for the episode, I don't know, some of it seemed to be bunk.
Oh, get you.
But again, the film's 40 years old, over 40 years old at this point. 45 this year, actually.
1980. 45-year-old film.
So there's plenty of time for things to come up and be disproved or misremembered, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But, well, that's the thing. Like as I said, like seeing the film so much, like there's always still things I haven't copped in it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like, that's why I enjoy it so much, because it is, as you said, like it's such a so psychological that there's a lot of thinkers in it, and I'd be like, oh shit, like that's mad. Like then, as I said, like it cuts to it. Then after Danny has that with. The vision with Tony.
That was first talking to him in the bed.
After that, the doctor.
That scene, actually, he's lying on a big bear pillow. And then later on, when he goes into the room,
Yeah.
and he sees that woman in there, when his ma runs to look for him, she runs over a bear rug.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then later on, when she sees the bear in the room with the man,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I always thought that was a dog.
I think it is. I think in
Yeah.
the book it's a dog, and in the film it's a bear. I think.
Oh, right, yeah, because there is a yoke in the
Or
book.
the
A dog man in the book. Like.
Woof woof.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I like when Danny has his first vision, I think like it's probably one of my favorite bits in the movie.
Where he sees the blood for the
He
first time.
sees the
Yeah.
blood, you see the twins. It's just
He sees a flash of his own face as well when
Yes.
Dix dies.
yes,
Yeah.
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 It's a scary scene as well. Again, it's all I think the one thing you can say about this film is it's just tension.
Yeah.
Like it just builds and builds and builds,
The
and
music, like,
yeah.
Like, I think
or even
score is what
lack
makes the film.
of music.
What is it?
Even
Yeah,
lack
at some
of
points,
music,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I did. I took note one of the song that plays during all of Danny's visions. It was The Awakening of Jacob, and the Naturus Sonaris #1, by Penderecki. Yeah, I just took note of it because it's a very spooky
spooky, yeah.
song.
Yeah.
For
Thank God
lack
it
of a
wasn't a
better
Monster
term.
Mash, though. Can you imagine if that was
Yeah,
Please, Tony. No, I was walking in the
oh Lord.
That would have killed the film.
So after
Oh.
Danny has his vision, the doctor comes and looks him over. She has a conversation with Wendy.
The
it
cigarette
goes
scene.
Yes, the
Yeah.
cigarette scene. Yes. We go to the closing day. For everyone listening, of course, who've seen the film is broken up into chapters, which is a black screen, plain white writing on it for each section. The next one is the closing day, which is the Torrance family travelling up to the Overlook in the car. And again, you get to see a bit more of the normal, happy family life. You know, they're in the car, they're chatting.
Yeah.
They're talking about just the
Cannibalism.
well,
Yeah.
okay, well, the subject
Yeah.
matter isn't exactly family friendly, but the
Yeah,
the mood in the car is pretty
Well, even
jovial.
Danny, it's the
I'll
most I
say.
think you see Danny talk in the film. Is it?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Or
it's the only thing.
acting like an actual kid.
Like a kid, yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, up at the
he's-
front, I'm hungry.
Yeah, and he's like this, yeah, and he's like, you should have ate your breakfast, kid. Yeah. And then
That was a good one.
And he's just driving there, and he's like this, and then he says the cannibalism, and then he goes, I know everything about cannibalism, Mom. It was on television. And Jack's like, he's seen it on television. And,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and then the eyebrows are already telling what's going to happen. I was like, oh, God.
Who could ever think that a man like Jack Nicholson would go crazy?
I know, they should have made him wear a hat for the whole film. At the end of it, he just takes it off, and he has that like crazy eyebrow.
Here's eyebrowy. That's terrible.
Oh, wait,
yeah, reverse. Oh God.
Nice.
Safe.
Yeah, even just the passing reference to the Donner Party, like, which was a group of pioneers who traveled across America to get to Oregon. The Oregon Trail. Did you ever hear that old ass game? Any of our older listeners might know it. But they were just a bunch of pioneers that traveled across the west. As Jack says, I think that was further out west in the Sierras. They got snowbound and they resorted to
Trambamboline.
eating each other. But yeah, I like, although the subject matter is not exactly
But it does show.
Fun.
It still shows what kind of family they are, though, because like, even though it is a weird conversation, but I don't know, you'd still be the same. You could be with your family just having your dinner. It's like, that fella died, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's like, how was like he ate his face, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just a normal thing, but it's just that scene. But it does show how mature Danny is, though, for a 5-year-old. And
Yeah.
he already knows about cannibalism.
Cannibalism, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Look at Chris, nearly 30, can't even say cannibalism.
Ouch. Ouch. So the family get to the...
I couldn't say hematologist.
Got him, you bastard. Blood. Yeah, so they get to the hotel. Ullman and... what's his name? Showed him around.
Watson.
Yeah. Showed him around. Showed Jack and Wendy. They showed him the maze. They showed him the snowcat. All things that will become relevant later. They do mention the boiler. Funny enough.
Yeah, which like Wendy
and keeping maintenance on the boiler, which
for the West Wing, isn't it? Remember the no, the book always has it's like Oban always has a certain point where they heat up the east side of the Overlook one day, and then they heat up the west.
Yeah, well, that's the job that they have to. Jack's main job is to keep just the heating going.
Keep it going,
both sides of on both wings of the hotel.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just get shown around what they're gonna do. They get brought to the ballroom, and that's where they meet Dick.
Yeah.
And they have to split up. They take Jack off to show him a few other pieces, and Dick shows Wendy and Danny the kitchen.
Well, before that happens, though, Danny goes into the playroom playing darts.
Oh yeah, shit. Sorry, yeah.
When he first meets the twins.
The twins, yes, yeah. He's in the rec room. Yeah, and he sees the twins. Again, it's not made clear. I do wonder, obviously Danny is such a young child, and how aware of his visions he actually is. If he thinks, oh, they're just two girls, because there's still people in the hotel at this point. There's still the staff are packing up, getting everything ready to shut down for the winter. You know, at that point, does he know they're ghosts, or does he think that they're just two kids that are there?
I personally think he does know because of his shine. Like, I do think
yeah, I mean, he probably does. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but I do wonder if it was supposed to be kind of ambiguous as to.
Okay, yeah, because they don't say anything and they don't do anything. They literally look at him and then they just turn around, and the way they even turn around is real scary. They're like, they don't let go of hands. They just go like a full 180 and they're back out. I was like, what the fuck?
So yeah, then I forgot about that scene, but then eventually Wendy and Danny are shown around the kitchen and the fridges by Dick Halloran, and during this tour, Dick starts talking to Danny in his mind, because he can tell that he has the shining. So
well, first he does, but first he kind of slips that he has the shine because he's talking to him, and then he calls him Doc.
He calls him Doc. Yes,
and then he closes the refrigerator, and then Wendy goes, "How did you know we call him Doc?"
Yeah,
and then
I must have heard you.
He's like, "You must have called him Doc." Yeah. So you're already kind of like,
Yeah, and I liked how the way Dick does it is like. I feel like I don't know if they just say it in the movie as well, but I wonder if like people with The Shining can kind of read thoughts of non-shiny people, non-shinies.
Yeah, no, they can.
Dulls. I don't know. And the way he like kind of says, "Oh no, you must have just said." He's obviously dealt with it his whole life, lived with this whole thing his whole life. He's just so casual with kind of like this. It's not a case of like, oh shit, I've been caught in a lie.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, you must have said it. Like, obviously, he probably knows. He's like, oh, I fucked up there, but he plays it off as just, oh, you must have just said it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was.
I think it's good.
Cool.
It's especially as well then when you said like it comes to the part and they're back in the ballroom, and Danny just after. What was it? Just after Danny then sees the girls, and then he comes into the room, and it's when they actually go. The place gets dried out. I hope you brought your own supply of alcohol. And then Jack goes, "We don't drink."
Yeah.
And then they're agreed to part ways with them,
mm-hmm.
and shows them the room. Does whatever. Then they meet back up with Jack, But while he's talking, that's when he goes to him and he's like, "How would you like some ice cream, Doc?" Like, well,
yeah, because they have to show Wendy some stuff as well.
Yeah, they have to show Wendy, and then that's where Danny's pure like, "Whoa, what the hell? This guy just spoke to me like it was nothing." And then that's when it cuts to him being like, "You know how I called you Doc?"
Yeah,
and it cuts to that part, and you get to see now Danny's not the only one alone, and basically Dick explains to him
what the power is and
what the shinning is.
And he also warns him about the hotel, or he talks to him about the hotel, because Danny asks, like,
are you afraid of this place or something?
Yes, exactly. He says, "Are you afraid of this place?" He says, "No." He says, "Buildings are like people."
He goes,
talks about the energy and
he goes, he goes, what is it, with Cheyenne, he goes, some people have it, some don't, and it's buildings, some do and some don't.
Yeah.
He goes, in this place, and he's like, and then that's when he says something about whatever you do. He goes, "Are you afraid of here?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "I'm not afraid." He goes, "But whatever you do, don't go into room 237.
237, yeah.
One thing I don't think you should say to a kid:
don't go there.
It's like, I ain't afraid, but don't go in that room. Don't ever go into 237, okay?
Yeah. I think though, I think Dick was probably assuming that Danny was because of The Shining.
It would lead him to it.
Well, no, I mean, like that, with a normal kid, if you warn them or tell them to stay away from something, their curiosity will get the better of them, and eventually it does. But I think because Dick knows that Danny's probably a bit more mature, having to deal with the Shining stuff, that he might take the warning a bit more serious. Which he does. He does. But he just tells him that. He tells him about his grandmother. I like the metaphor he uses, or the example he uses for when you burn toast in a room.
Oh,
the smell.
It sticks around. Yeah. I think that was a good, a great way to describe it to a child. Is on the other hand, he's still talking to a child. So I think it's a good scene.
It's a great scene.
Conversation.
It's probably the most informative scene of the whole film.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and it's the thing I do love about that scene as well, though, is it's a scene like he's saying it to him and he's talking to him, and it's kind of the end of Danny. That's where you're thinking that I personally start saying Danny starts talking less now already. After that he's already.
Tony disappears for a good bit.
Tony's like. Yeah, Tony, like, I don't even think there's mention of Tony in that scene at all then. Like, he doesn't talk to him, he doesn't do anything. All he does is hear is Dick Halloran.
Yeah.
And then after that scene...
Does he not ask him who's Tony?
I think he does.
Yeah, he goes, "Do your parents know about Tony?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah," but he does, like, Tony doesn't do anything. Like, he is explaining Tony, but there's no use for Tony there, except for, like, warn them about the Overlook. That's about it. And then later on.
Yeah. Next chapter, it jumps to a month later. It shows the family just kind of how they're living in the hotel.
Yeah.
Wendy is going around. She's making dinner. She has the hotel tray with the food. Because that's something I would do. I don't know. Other than the absolute horror, like living in having a whole hotel to yourself, sounds great. And she has like the full cart with the silverware, for the breakfast, and that's what I'd be doing. I'd be using every fancy bit of fucking cutlery and
I'd be the same. I'd be doing pointless games of knick-knacking though,
Hell
just to empty rooms, and then like running. No one ever opening the door except for that old one in 237.
Oh Lord, terrifying. All the rooms have fucking Ring doorbells now.
Google, Google. I'm at your door.
Oh God, it would totally change the axe scene.
It would, yeah. Here's I know.
Oh God. god.
You wouldn't even have to put the hole in the door. Just
No.
look through the
No,
camera.
yeah.
Just take the battery out. Like, open up, Wendy.
But throughout that as well, you see, like Jack was hired to take care of this place, and right from the get go, Jack
Doesn't do anything.
is not working. Yeah, he's
Ain't
just
doing shit.
he's like just pissing around. He's bouncing the ball around the hotel.
Yeah, like, well, that's another thing why I think was great why Jack goes. I personally think another reason why he goes mad then is because he's got writer's block. Like,
Yeah.
it's another thing where I think they overlook fades off with him.
Yeah.
So he's getting like frustrated and angry even with the writer's block, and like it's turning into something more.
Yeah, I think as well though. I think like from straight away, like they're a month into it. I'm sure there's more than just having to rotate the boilers going on in the hotel that he could be doing as a caretaker. And as you see, like because like Wendy and Danny are out in the maze, walking through the maze and stuff. Like the weather is still okay.
Yeah,
I just took it as like.
because they go up.
Jack
Is it
isn't exact-
October, isn't it? The first month is October. They go in.
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, so
the weather's pretty good. I think it kind of made it seem like Jack wasn't exactly a hard worker anyway. You know what I mean? Like he's the Jack that was in the interview. I think was everybody lies in an interview anyway, but I think it's just like he's kind of just slacking off anyway already straight away. I don't really know if it's writer's block.
yeah,
Exactly, and it's not just him
I deal with
being a bit of a waste.
No, the only reason I do is because like they're the first month in. Now it's a month in, we don't know. He could have been doing that. 'Cause
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, she comes in and when she, as you said, like gives him the breakfast.
Yeah.
He's real nice with her, and he's like real sound. And maybe
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
maybe he
That
has at
scene's
this point.
shot really well as well.
I love
Through
that
the mirror.
Through the mirror.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes of the film. Like, but that whole thing's like for most of it is literally just him in the mirror, and then when it cuts to her talking, then that's the only scene where she comes out, and then it goes to them.
Yeah.
Normally, like the mirror shot is finished.
That mirror shot. Actually, the fact that the mirror is the focus of that shot.
Yeah.
It's the mirror she looks in later on where it says murder.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also the shape of that mirror. It's the same shape of the mat that's on the floor of 237.
Deadly.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
very
wow.
cool. Didn't know
In the
that.
I didn't know
bathroom,
that.
yeah.
Oh wow.
That's
that
very
one.
cool.
Yeah.
spot.
Very good.
Yeah.
Deadly. Okay, that's very good.
Well, there's a lot of mirror imagery throughout the film, or uses of mirrors,
red
like that
rum.
the red rum. When Danny goes to talk to Jack later on in the film in the room,
And that's the same shot.
it's all through the mirror. It's all through the mirror again. Even the twins, like that's technically a mirror,
image,
image.
The scene actually where Jack, when he's going to the ballroom later on at night, and every
Yes,
time he walks
yeah.
by the mirror, he
Does that weird.
He keeps like
movement,
snapping
yeah.
and he's going nuts, but then he
Yeah.
go back being normal, and then goes through again. He's going frantic. He's like, oh, you know, like
I did see, like, people kind of think of the images of Grady and Jack then later on in the bathroom. Obviously, bathrooms have loads of mirrors, but it keeps switching back between the two of them, and Jack is becoming a mirror of Grady. I don't know if that's, like, was intentional. I know mirrors...
it's Kubrick probably, honestly. Like,
absolutely,
Kubrick's
yeah.
fucking-
Yeah. Like, I know mirrors have... you know, in certain cultures, they cover up mirrors during wakes and stuff.
Oh, okay,
'cause
yeah.
it's said to like trap the soul of the person who's dead. I think we do that over here as well. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I don't know if it's just that, if it's something to do, you know, if that was the idea with the mirror, or just mirror image reflections, all that kind of stuff. Which I thought was interesting. But yeah, I noticed as well in that scene, the first mirror scene when Jack is awakening, it's kind of, he seems like he's after having a good sleep.
Yes.
So
yeah.
to me,
But even when he says to her, do you remember? Because she's like talking about it, and he goes, I don't know. Goes, he's basically like, it's like saying it's like deja vu.
Yeah.
You know, it's like deja vu in here. But then he's messing. You know, he messes around. He's doing the woo.
Yes.
But he's not messing. You know what I mean? Like he's genuinely. It's like he's feel.
Yeah. He's
like when he's like, you know, when you've been here like here before, and that's the whole thing as well. Is where it's like. That's where I feel like the Overlook is starting to like kind of make him feel like he's he's welcome.
Yes. Yeah.
The thing with the mirrors is it's actually a Jewish thing.
Oh
But
yes.
Also, Irish people do it.
Oh, they did. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
So you won the free empty can of Monster. You did.
I knew I'd read about that some places before. But yeah, it's just
It's not to be a distraction to the mourners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, he's dead. Oh,
Good.
I look good.
Oh god.
But no, like so, that scene, like as I said, so it went from the tree a month in.
Yeah, it cuts to then
from what I believe Tuesday.
Tuesday,
yeah.
Yes. Goes to Tuesday then. I noticed as well. So that's it. When it goes to Tuesday, it's Wendy in the kitchen. She's making a salad or something. I'm not sure. It's opening a big tin of fruit. It looks lovely, fruit salad. But she, it's a big gigantic tin of fruit salad.
Danny, I got peaches. Mrs. Torrance.
Oh fuck! She has the news on the TV, and they're talking about the weather changing suddenly. That like they're talking about being sunny and stuff like that. Now I just thought, it's winter is coming in.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking as well. I wonder if the weather itself is like a manifestation by the Overlook. Oh, as the power grows, like it starts to affect the weather in the area. But also, it's just
it's just Colorado.
It's November.
Yeah. Look at the end of the film. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That could make sense.
Yeah,
as if like he didn't fulfill what he was supposed to do, so the Overlook took him. Like,
yeah, true.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, you need to watch Dr. Sleep. Then.
I do.
You do.
I do.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has been kind of ruined on me already, but
we do.
It's well worth it. It's well worth it.
It's weird. I'm getting a thing now where after watching The Shining recently, and I was like, I don't know about Dr. Sleep. Now I'm kind of like, kind of want to watch Dr. Sleep again. But that's, as you said, that scene. She's in there. So
they're talking about the weather. The weather is suddenly changing. Like it's not. It's not. The way I interpreted it was that it's not the natural changing of the season. It's just gone from this is nice and sunny to it's a blizzard almost.
Yeah.
Like
even that scene. Even before it, like as you said, where it's nice and they're going around the maze.
Yeah.
Like with Jack looking down at them, remember?
Yeah.
But that scene, like it's clear as day. Like it's
It's
perfect.
Yeah.
Like it looks like t-shirt weather that they're in.
Yeah, and that's what the lady on the news or there's a guy on the news as well. He says, I was just sunbathing in my front garden, which is strange weather for November anyway. But I just thought that might have been, something interesting because it's a sudden change. And I think it kind of describes a bit of the film because at this point then, so we get our first appearance of 237 as well.
Yeah.
And Danny resists he tries the doors, but he gets a flash of the twins again, gets on his bike and cycles off. But Jack snaps at Wendy for the first time. She goes in and disturbs his writing, and he snaps. And I kind of thought like that the sudden change of the weather goes from the sunny, all happy, you know, happy families to, ooh.
Yeah, well, as we said, like the scene, the part before that, and it's like, it's how happy he is in the bed.
Yeah.
And then the scene, and she only comes in, and that's where I see the writer's block part. Like the part, because he's literally he's trying and he's doing a bit, and And as I said, that like this is where I started really enjoying like the score of the film, because when I was watching it with the headphones in, and then she comes up and she says, "How's it going?" and like how he rips the paper out of the typewriter.
Yeah.
And like I was jumping at that scene. I was like, "Oh shit!" And it's already tense as it is because there's no music now playing, and and like he's just looking at her and he's like, "What do you want?" And then she's like, "I'm just saying, how you doing?" Like, and then he's like, "I'm trying to work," and he goes, "If you hear this," and he starts banging on the typewriter. He's like, "Don't come in. Don't ever come in here when I'm trying to write." And he tells her to get the fuck out. Like,
and it is like it does. I think it shows how it's affecting him more so than her, because she's still kind of other than until he, he starts cursing. She's still, and even then when she leaves, she's like, "Oh, okay," she doesn't really see like there's anything going wrong or going on.
It's like she's used to Jack like that as well.
Well, that's another thing to say. Maybe Jack isn't always this happy guy. But we are only seeing certain, like we have like certain peepholes into
like
only moments in their relationship. So
well, that's why like that part she's real. Well, she is, like, you do see she's a little shocked. Like, you do see
naturally, yes.
She's just real, like, naturally, of course, like, but she's real, like, okay, and, like, it means, like, so maybe he was grand, and then he has that moment, and he's writing, and then kicks her out, and then she's just real shocked that he goes back to just goes back to fucking typing away, like it was nothing, which is pure told her, but, like, she's still normal so far in this film.
She is, and that's what, like, as I said, like, we're seeing more and more quick snaps of moments in time in The Overlook, like it's gone from, again, like a month later to Tuesday, and then it goes to the next chapter, then they're getting shorter and shorter to Thursday, which is there's only like two or one little scene of Jack or Danny and Wendy playing in the snow.
I love that scene.
And then it goes to Jack, and he looks absolutely fucking insane.
He looks nuts
in his polo neck.
I can imagine just like Stanley. All right, Jack, we're gonna do the part now, Jack. And Jack's like, we already did the fucking part.
It was take 5004 of him looking out a window.
No, Jack, we need you to look into the window, not through the window.
Originally, it was a night scene.
12 hours straight, just Jack. Nichols like, I need to watch the fucking Lakers. Oh, nuts!
But he's. I think at that point, Jack is starting to go.
Gone.
He's on his way out.
Do you know the typewriter he has?
Yes.
Did you hear about the German, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Brand?
Not maybe conspiracy is the word I'm looking for, but the typewriter he uses is the same that Nazis would use, and it actually has like an SS logo.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
Jesus.
That's very...
And there's like some weird Nazi... He has like a yellow t-shirt at one point in the film, and there's like a Nazi thing on it, and it like supposed to match with the printer or something like
really?
that. Yeah.
Wow, well,
like
that's...
some logo on it. It's like a German logo. I don't know if it's a Nazi logo.
Well, that's another thing I've noticed. But there is a lot of, like, with the colours in the film. I know we're saying, like, earlier on with the toy thing, but it is... Like, and then with Ullman's toy representing the blood of the elevator, I think there's stuff like that a lot in that film.
Yeah.
The scene, as we said, like at the start of it, the interview, I don't know when you watched it again, and you see Jack going by the fella and he's wearing the same jacket Jack's wearing it at the start of it.
Oh, really? Yes.
And when Jack looks...
The red jacket, is it?
He's wearing a red jacket, and Jack walks by and he looks at him, and when Jack does it, Jack limps for a couple of seconds.
Oh, like yeah, that scene, yeah.
Oh, that's when they're getting shown around.
When they're getting shown
after the interview, or when they're in the hotel.
Yeah, which is another thing.
Yeah. Your man's like cleaning or something.
He's just cleaning the mirror or something. He's cleaning the mirror. Like, he's cleaning the mirror, and it's another fucking little thing going on where Jack has
weird, actually, yeah.
Then it cuts to what, Saturday?
Yeah. And the weather has like reached its peak of terribleness.
And that's so it cuts to then it's showing Wendy and she's talking to the Rangers.
Yeah, she's trying the radio or the the telephone lines. She's at the switchboard first, and it's not working.
Yeah, over.
Yeah, and then she goes to talk to the park rangers, and they tell her just to leave the radio on from now on, and that the phone lines are down. And again, she is kind of like, okay, you know, it's nothing worrying
she's
so
so
far.
passive. She is. Isn't
Yeah, I think that was kind of a. Like there's a theory that Jack also has a bit of a shine to him, and so like the only two people until the end of the film that are really getting affected by the actual power of the Overlook and the spirits themselves are Jack and Danny. But Wendy, until obviously it's too late, isn't really affected by it.
No,
you know, or at least from what we see.
Yeah.
Again, we're only seeing. We've jumped now almost we've jumped like 2 days.
Yeah, like
So
as you
we
said,
don't know how affected by it she is, but she does seem to be holding up.
Yeah,
Okay.
like she really is like running the ship.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, she's the one like that is doing Jack's job through the whole film.
Yes. Well, as we find out later on, she's working in the boiler, and I assume like it's the first time we see it, but I'm assuming she's been doing that for a while because.
She knows what to do.
Yeah, she's taking notes. She's doing all
comfortable doing it. Like.
Yes,
doing
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
it's nothing.
So I assume she's just been doing it for a good while now. So maybe if Jack just got off his ass and actually worked, maybe the hotel wouldn't have been able to get to him because he's too busy fucking doing his job.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Torrance. I'm trying to make it.
All play and no work makes Jack a fucking psycho.
But so that scene then, when with the Rangers, is then the infamous scene with Danny.
Come play with us, Danny.
Yeah, forever
and ever.
Shit, scary.
Very scary, and we get to see them all hacked and bloody.
Yeah.
Tony comes back. I think this is the first time Tony's been back.
It would, it would be now with Tony. But
yeah.
that scene with Tony when he comes back, then it is the what scene is that again?
It's after the twins.
Is that when he's in the?
Oh yeah, and he talks.
He's in the hall.
Tony doesn't show up there. I think he talks to Tony.
He does. He talks to him, and
he talk back to him.
He does talk back.
Oh, he does talk back to him. I thought and he goes, yeah, and that's where he says, just remember what Mr. Halloran said.
Yes,
it's, just
it's only pictures they
in
can't
a book.
hurt. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Fuck yeah, okay, you're right. That's it, yeah. And then, where is it? It comes to...
Goes to Monday then.
Goes to Monday, okay.
Yeah, so... Monday blues, am I right? Jack and Danny and Wendy are watching TV. Danny goes to the room.
The TV that isn't fucking plugged in. Danny.
Yeah.
When we watched it the other day and you pointed it out to me, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
I never would have spotted that.
That's the thing. I remember, like the thing with the misplacements, even in the film, like not only like you can do like a few mistakes. Like you see films, they have mistakes, but
there's so many. The mistakes in the film are so blatant. Like they have to be like on purpose.
When I've seen mistakes. One or two, I was like, "This ain't mistakes." Like this is because he goes, what is it? He goes out, Mom, can I get me fire truck? And she's like, your dad's asleep, don't go near him. And then that whole scene is just, even like the way the camera is, and the telly looks gigantic.
Yeah.
And just clearly nothing.
There's no wire.
There's nothing plugged in. Yeah. It's just fucking crazy. And then it cuts to Danny, and Danny's going up, and it's the same kind of shot again. And him and Jack. Where Jack is actually wearing that jumper he's wearing when he's looking out the window. He's wearing the same.
Yes, yeah.
He's wearing the same one. Oh no, sorry, he's wearing his house coat. But do you notice it's always green? He's green.
Oh yeah.
And then until he becomes the caretaker, it's red.
Ah.
Yeah. Which is mad.
Interesting.
But he comes into him, and as I said, like I don't know if you've seen the parts or maybe you had a look then after, but the way the music works. Like how they have it, like it's linked.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in sync. Like
It's
when
in
he like
sync.
slams his hand on the desk and stuff.
When he slams, or like if Danny's asking him a question, it'll go up. like a tempo or whatever. And then when Jack
it's like creating suspense, and then
it keeps going up and down.
He answers like,
yeah, and he's like, "You'd never hurt me, and mommy, would you?" And then Jack's like, "No," and he goes, "I love you, Danny," and he's holding him, and he goes, "Do you like the Overlook?" And then Jack says, "Then I'd stay here forever, and ever," and then it's like, "Oh shit!" It's like,
well, he that's the music that's playing. It's called Music for Strings, Percussion, and Celesta by Bartok. It's an old piece written by Bartok, who's a composer, but it was used, just a little funny thing, it was used in a lost episode of Doctor Who called The Web of Fear.
Oh really?
Yeah. So there was, I don't know if either you know this, some of the listeners might know, there was a couple of episodes of the second Doctor in the early 60s, so I think this episode was from 1964, I think, that the visual, the camera footage was lost. They either taped over it or they just destroyed it. Apparently the BBC weren't exactly great at keeping records.
Oh, okay. But
the audio for it was kept completely intact, and the score. And when I was doing research on the episode, I was listening to the song, and a lot of the comments were like, "Oh yeah, I can't believe this was in." No one mentioned The Shining. They're all talking about Doctor Who. I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, surely that's just a coincidence." And I typed it in. I clicked on it. I was like, "Yeah, this is from that episode." It was.
I have to have a look.
I'll send it in. I'll put a link in the description of the YouTube video for everyone. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Like, it was a reused score, but it does fit so well with the flow of that scene.
Yeah. Sure. Like, even like the whole thing, as I said, like, because you notice the way they move in the film, and I've said it to you, and I've probably said it a couple of times, but like, it is called like Mickey Mouse, and as you seen, like, say from Tom and Jerry, and fucking Jerry's trying to grab the cheese or something. Yeah. Every step is doing the dun 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 like that, and then that film has a lot of that in it.
Yes.
Even the scene, as you said, Jack throwing the tennis ball, him bouncing the tennis ball on the ground, still matches with the music. That's why I think the film is fantastic.
Yes.
Because of the score and the way it matches up with the film. It's mad.
Well, when Danny goes to get his fire truck, what is he wearing?
The Mickey Mouse jumper.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like,
yes. Yeah.
It's just it's great. It's even that and then the way that's working and the way it has with Jack, even still looking into the camera, and coming, like, it's just the way that whole film and the way the music is, and if you're really betting into it and you're looking into it, it's so good to catch it in.
Oh yeah.
And if anyone who is even listening to this and hasn't watched it, I really do recommend watching it, because we're just breaking down a little bit, of whatever, and it honestly is. It's probably in the top 5 films I've ever seen that you can watch it in. But like, I'm actually probably gonna watch it again this week.
I think I like what we were saying with Jack, when that scene when he's looking at the window. I was saying, like, is he gone or not? What we mean is that, like, the hotel is taking him over, and I think when Danny is talking to him, or the way he's talking to him, he keeps saying, "No, Dad. Yes, Dad."
Yeah.
I think Danny knows that Jack isn't there.
Yeah.
The way he's talking to him, I just feel, and he doesn't look at him at all. He doesn't really look him in the eye for a lot of it. I think he knows that it's not him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he finishes the conversation with the forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
So, I think that's when Danny knows something ain't right with Papa.
That's the thing as well, because like, even when Wendy's like, "Don't wake your dad" and all that, and do you ever get when you're a kid, your mom be like, turn off the telly, don't wake your dad or something, and then you go in, your dad's like, they're just standing there like, "Danny." No, I think it's Rob. Who is Danny?
Oh fuck. But after that, then so it then goes to Wednesday, and that's when everything.
It is Wednesday.
It's
my
Wednesday,
dudes,
my dudes, and that's when everything starts to fall apart. We see Danny cycling through the hallways once again. I love.
No, isn't it? He's just playing with his toys.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Which is another cool part.
Scratch that. Cut that out.
Yeah.
Cut that out. We'll go
Wait,
back. We'll go back. Wrong button.
Wrong button. Sorry, but that scene, which I think is deadly as well, like Danny rolls the baseball. And
Yes.
the pattern in the hotel, when he rolls back to him, it's another way.
It's different, yeah.
So, like, that's where, if you really look into it, the hotel isn't making sense now. It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when he's on his bike at that part, he goes through the hallway where he's hiding from Jack after Jack killed your man. And when he goes down, he takes a right, and then he's like upstairs.
Yes, that's
Like
what I mean.
where all
Yes.
the rooms are.
Yeah. Or even when he's out in the land, if you look and you see there's a room he'll pass by first,
Yeah.
and the room wouldn't make sense because there's another door even next to it. So even if it was a room, say like widthwise,
Yeah.
then it'd be going into the other room. Like, it's just, that's where you start realizing it's like, oh, this place is just fucking.
Well, when he's
It's a maze itself.
well,
it's a
you can
maze,
see
yeah.
like on the hallway where 237 is. There's rooms opposite that, so like he's facing down the corridor, and 237 is on the left side of the corridor, and there's rooms on the right. But before that, you can see out into the main hall, or
Where
the hall where Jack does be working.
Yeah.
And it's just a balcony. So the doors on the right,
Aren't rooms.
there's no rooms
That's
there.
exactly
There's no
what-
like there's nothing.
That's
there's
there's nothing there.
Those doors
Just
open to
doors.
nothing.
nothing. Yeah, it's like the Bender's
Come on
room
down,
from
the real
Futurama.
Oh, real fake doors.
Real fake doors.
Come on down, the real fake doors. Get your real fake door now.
Speaking of real fake
Two
doors,
guys.
in the famous axe cutting scene, originally they used prop doors,
Yeah.
but Jack Nicholson kept fucking
Getting them on one swing.
Yeah.
taking the whole
Yeah.
thing down, because he was a volunteer firefighter,
Yeah, that's what I heard
Um,
from it. Like,
so they had to use real doors, which real fake doors, it's funny. Like what defines a fake door?
I don't know, lint, I don't
Yeah.
know, Velcro, Velcro lock.
If it opens, I suppose. But yeah, so Danny's playing with his toys, and he goes into room 237,
Yeah,
and we get that great shot of through the door, through the room.
yeah.
up
Well,
to
not yet.
Yeah. No, you get a bit of that. You don't see all. No, you don't see all of it.
I thought all you see first is just Danny literally opening the door, and you see the first part of the room, and then it kind of fades out.
Yeah, sorry. He goes in. The camera goes in a little bit
Okay,
through the room. Yeah. And that's when we see Wendy doing her job. Well, not
Doing
her job.
Jack's job.
Doing Jack's job. She's working away, and you hear Jack having a night terror.
Yeah, screaming.
Screaming. I did think I like, again, it's maybe just thinking too much into it, but when Danny is going into the room, he's saying "Mom, Mom," and it kind of sounds like Jack is screaming "Mom" when he's having his night terror, and then it just starts to sound like just screams of terror.
Yeah. I
Um,
love that, even the way he's really, and
Yeah.
and then she just out there, Jack, Jack, and,
yeah.
and he's just going ballistic. Like, and he has a different typewriter. at that
Yes.
part then,
Yeah.
Even the typewriter's there, and that's where he starts wearing the different jacket, the red jacket.
Oh, the red. Well, that's when they're all in their end game gear.
Yeah,
Fully
loaded.
Yeah, it's the final costume change. Because Danny is also wearing his Apollo 11. Ganzi. But yeah, Wendy goes to check on Jack, and Jack tells her that he's having a horrible nightmare that he murdered her and Danny. And while she's comforting Jack, Danny shows up, and he's all battered. His neck is all bruised, and his Apollo 11 jumper is torn up. And she goes over to him. Of course, she's his mother. And picks him up. What's going on? What he's sucking his thumb. He's not saying anything. He's clearly
freaked out.
Something has happened. And immediately, well, not immediately, but
even the way she looks then at Jack, and she goes, "You did this,"
yes.
and Jack's like, he's just like deadpan, like, and even I'm like, did he do it?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing, because like, other than Danny's visions, and we've been told that they're just pictures in a book, they can't scare you. Like, we don't know what happened in that room up until we do.
See that part though, where she's in the bat.
Yeah.
So we don't know that she's in it yet. I know that, like, she's not in the bat.
Yeah.
But she is. We do know it's her in the book. And in the book, he goes about Connor going, "Oh, it's just like pictures in the book." It's the same thing. Like, he wrote that in the book. But the woman in the bat
is able to
attack Danny.
She's
like,
corporeal.
Yeah, she's like,
like
she is a story in the book as well. Like they,
and she like killed herself in the bathtub or something.
Yeah, she like overdosed. Yeah, and her husband like went off for like did a few days and then came back and they found her dead in the tub. Like.
But then after Wendy takes Danny away, Jack is in a rage and goes to the ballroom, and on his way there he starts spasming at the mirrors.
The mirrors, yeah.
He goes into the empty ballroom to a bar, sits down at the bar, and after closing his eyes he opens up and the bar is fully stocked. Yeah. And we meet Lloyd.
Lloyd's the barman.
The bartender. Who is played by let me just get his name here.
Is he actually like? Is he like?
Lloyd is played by Joe Turkel, who played Eldon Tyrrell in Blade Runner. He was the head of the Tyrrell company who make the synths.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Blade Runner. Another Blade Runner connection, because we forgot to say at the start, the
shots.
Helicopter shots going up to the Overlook were used by Ridley Scott again, or some spare footage that Kubrick had shot were used by Ridley Scott for the end of Blade Runner.
Yeah, because when they were doing the screening for that, they said it was too dark to film.
Yeah.
And then that's where he rang Stanley, and Stanley goes, "I have like 6 weeks worth of camera footage."
Yeah, because naturally, if someone told me, "Oh, my film is too dark," I'd ask Stanley Kubrick how to make it brighter. Like, that's...
he's just like, "Oh, right.
Have you killed the kids?"
Yeah, I got one shot.
Oh God.
What a weird person to ask for.
Yeah.
It's weird because that Blade Runner came out 3 years after. Like, that was 83, wasn't it? Blade Runner?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
He must have I'm guessing they must have been that good of buddies. And he's
like, I'd say they're
loads.
Yeah. And I don't know if they were both shot in England? In Elstree Studios? I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, but, I'm not sure myself, actually, yeah.
They probably could have been. So Jack has a conversation with Lloyd,
which is, I think, is the best. Well, is my favorite part of the film. I love that whole scene. That's where you really notice him, like, as well, like where he keeps doing the pans at the camera.
Yes.
Where, even as well how he says it, is like quiet night, Lloyd, and he starts like laughing to himself, and then it cuts back to Lloyd and they're having just that little moment, that little part where he's like, what do you want to drink? And he goes, the bottle of scotch, glass and some ice. And he starts kind of pouring out his heart out to Lloyd.
Yes.
Like a drunk would to a barman.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I love like he's talking about just having some trouble with the old sperm bank.
Sperm bank, yeah.
What a lovely way to talk about your wife.
Yeah,
and
it really shows like what Jack is like. Then I think at this point.
Yeah,
does,
I think so because he's having a freak out. He's saying, "Oh, she accused me of hurting the kid." Okay, I did do it once. I dislocated. There was one time where I dislocated my child's arm, but like, yeah, I think.
Yeah,
and it kind of goes towards.
It's weird then, because actually, maybe that's true, because it's a goddamn year ago. It was, and he said the 5 months of sobriety.
Yeah,
and he goes, when he has the drink, he goes 5 months of being on the wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So see what I mean? Like it's inconsistent. And I think as well, it really shows the difference between, or things like this show the difference between the King's novel and the movie, because other than like when other people start to see the ghosts and stuff, you kind of have to wonder if it is all in Jack's head, a lot of it, if it is the pressure getting to him and it's not some supernatural, because he's having a conversation with Lloyd, but it's him on his own. He's having a back and forth, and it's mostly him talking anyway.
Yeah.
And if you notice as well, there's a mirror there behind the bar.
Yeah, and that's because the shot is in the mirror, and that's why he starts laughing. Yeah,
like if there was someone just kind of standing off to the side, like it could be just a crazy man. Sorry, it is a crazy man in a room talking to himself in a mirror.
Yeah.
Thinking that he's Lloyd the bartender, like.
Yeah. Well, even like as you said, before going into it, and with the ballroom, you see the mirrors, and as you said, that's the whole thing. I think is like it's where with the overlook, it's like Jack's looking like turning into the caretaker, and with the mirrors, I think is more reflecting of like that message of it is reflecting of who he is and who he's becoming, and as soon as he sits down and he looks in it, and straight away just fucking shoots off, because like that's not in The Shining now, like in the book, like this is all just from the film, so that I think that is just Kubrick, like
which the conversation with Lloyd.
No, that is like even the drink's different now, like the whole thing with the drinks, like Jack.
Oh yeah, he has
to kill his alcohol problem. He keeps taking like baby aspirin.
Yes,
like he keeps chewing on them because that's what he used to get, and that's kind of like the feeling, like the enjoyment he gets. But he literally just like he drinks. I think it's like margaritas, and he keeps down them. That's what he does, and he keeps that in that scene. But he has the same thing where he goes, "I like you, Lloyd." And he goes, "You're the best from Timbuktu to Oregon,
Portland, Maine."
Portland, Maine. And he goes,
and Portland, Oregon too.
Portland, Oregon too. Yeah. So he does have the same like conversation with Lloyd, and then even as well, he even has the thing where he goes, I got 2 10s and 2 20s.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "How's my credit?" And that's when he goes, "Oh, your credit's good here." I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah. And then it cuts to him, like, and he's talking, and then that's when Wendy
comes in with the bat,
runs in. But she then, what's weird is because he is talking to himself, and Wendy completely just ignores it.
Yeah, well, like she's in distress at this point.
She's in distress, but like she would have seen Jack full on, like, he's acting and like that's another thing about the film where it's just like she's like, he's going, "Oh no, that's just how Jack is." Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, Danny did," and she goes, "There's a woman that's after strangling Danny."
Yeah, there's a crazy woman living in the hotel.
Yeah,
and he asks her what room it is, and then it cuts back to almost like a continuation of the shot of Danny going into the room.
Yeah.
We see through the suite into the bathroom, open up the door, and there's a lady in the bathtub. Well, actually, sorry, that's not exactly how it goes. So it actually cuts to Dick watching TV in Miami. In that cool ass room he's in.
That varnished room.
Yes, yeah. Looking like he's loving his time off.
Yeah.
And as he's lying in bed, he starts to have a vision. And we see Danny is contacting him.
Yeah.
I assume to tell him what's going on. That he went into the room he wasn't supposed to.
Well, I don't think Danny's. Danny's contacting him in the book, but in that scene I feel like it's that strong where Danny's getting the vision of what's gonna happen, because he's kind of having a seizure.
Yeah, but Dick lays back in bed and is like has a.
But that's why I think it's like the blast of it, of how strong he's having that way.
Oh, that it's going across.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because like in the book he says to him, "Is there any if there's anything you can call me?"
Yeah.
So I was like, right, but the part like Danny, I don't think as he said that. I do think Danny's full on having this, like he knows he's gonna die.
Yeah,
like, he's literally like.
Well, he does tell Dick tells him to contact him in the movie as well.
Does he?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay. No, then he does. No.
Yeah. So he is contacting Dick and telling him about the room. And I kind of think it's like it feels like he's like, look, this is what I saw, and he's showing him what he saw, but then it's actually now Jack going into the room.
Yeah.
He goes into the bathroom and we see the lady in the bathtub. It's a very famous scene. Spooky.
Very spooky.
Scary. I love like you see Jack's face, he is kind of like, what the fuck is going on? There's a lady here. And then when she steps out of the bath, and it's again, I really wonder how, like, why Stephen King or fucking Stanley Kubrick thought, Jack Nicholson looks like a normal man. It's the most devilish face I have ever seen on someone. Look, like his eyebrows are like fucking curled almost.
The McDonald's.
Yes, he likes what he sees, and he goes over to the lady, and it's revealed.
So it's not even a hello. It's just he goes straight into it.
Straight into it, yeah.
Come on, gives a bit of you. Gives a boy, and
then. But yeah, it turns out that sandwich is rotten.
Yeah, it's the mirror again.
Yeah,
it's another mirror.
Yeah.
It's kind of like American Horror Story.
Yes, the
season 1, I think, of The Maid.
Yeah, with the different.
And then it's Barney's ma from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes, yeah.
I was a whore, dear.
I would not be surprised if they didn't take inspiration from from that. Yeah, that scene is just nasty, and then he's absolutely horrified.
Yeah,
he's like falling out of the room. The laugh of her is just like,
yeah, she's really like the leave it out woman. And Jack's like, oh, for fuck's sake. His beard almost wore off, and he's just like, she's a horror. She is.
So we go back to Dick. Then he calls the Rangers to ask or tries to call them at least, to call the Rangers to see how everyone is, to try and contact the hotel. They say, yeah, we'll try and get in touch because everybody else is having a grand old time.
Yeah,
it's nearly Christmas. But then Jack goes back to the room. Wendy is obviously still fucking freaking out, and Jack just says, no, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, and he's so normal.
Yeah, he's obviously recovered from that absolute vile woman.
He doesn't even like think about it.
Yeah.
He's just pure like, don't know what Danny's on about.
That kid is fucking crazy.
Kid's weird.
Gotta be honest, dear. I think we should get out of here. That's what a rational father would say, but he doesn't.
But he has to write.
Yeah, he has to do his job. Wendy does suggest leaving because Danny is traumatized. Jack freaks out, tells her that he has to work. He is signed a contract with the hotel to continue his work. I feel like the contract signing is like almost making a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
So the contract with the hotel is with the hotel itself, and not the not Ullman and the rest of the workers. So he storms off,
And then does the biggest look.
He looks directly at the camera.
Into the camera.
He
He's
looks,
like, you're next.
Is that when he shoves past?
Yeah, he's walking. He's pissed off. And he's about to leave the room, but he
get a load of this guy.
At the camera because it's always subtle, and that's the scene where he's full on like, you, like, you did it.
Yeah, it's so blatant in that one.
Yeah. But
because he was in the show. Did you see it? And you're like, no, not. You're like, oh, I see that one. Yeah.
It's the only one I was able to spot.
Oh yeah.
And so then we see while they're having their conversation, Danny is actually having another vision, and he sees red rum on the door. Jack storms off, goes to the ballroom, and it's in full swing now. The whole hotel has got balloons and streamers and everything.
Yeah.
And there's a whole host of ghosts. There he goes back to Lloyd. He's having a chat with him. Tries to pay for the drink, and that's when they say your money's no good here. It's on the house. He asks, I'd like to know who was buying me a drink. Yeah. And
then Lloyd goes, it's on the house. You're at this moment in time, you're not at liberty to know, or you're not supposed to know. So that's, I think the house is really onto him then. While at the party, then he gets up, he starts having a little boogie, and he bumps into Grady. Grady spills a load of drinks onto him, and brings him into the bathroom to clean him up, and starts talking to him. But even how I love, because he talks to him, and he's just, he's just a guy doing his job, and he's cleaning up Jack, and then like how he says his name is like, oh, and you are, and he goes, oh, Grady, sir, and then Jack's like, Grady, and then you can see Jack's kind of going, Grady. He's like, yeah, and he's like, oh, Grady.
Is there a mirror in that scene?
Yeah,
they're in the bathroom.
Yeah, so it probably is, and there's a mirror right beside him. He's like just talking to himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Jack going fucking bananas.
Yeah.
Because then when he goes, weren't you the caretaker here? And he goes, no. He goes,
I'm pretty sure you were.
Yeah,
Some shit like that.
He goes, you've always been the caretaker.
Yeah, Grady refutes him. He says, like, no, for as long as I've been here, you've been the caretaker.
Yeah. But I like, though, because of how, I don't know, the more serious the conversation is, the more it's zooming in on them.
Zooming in and like, more and more, and it keeps going back between their faces.
Yeah. Like
they're looking in the mirror.
Yeah. This episode is just going to be called Mirrors.
But he tells Jack that Danny is after contacting Dick, and that he needs to sort him out. What does he say exactly?
He goes, I won't fully quote it, but goes, your son has a power, a great power.
But when he tells Jack that him and his family need to
put him in place.
Put in his place,
be put in his place. And
I had a wife who...
Yeah, and I had to put her in her place.
Yes.
And then my daughter, she tried to burn the place to the ground. And that's where he's like...
And I put her in her place.
Put her in her place, and he's just like... And then Jack's like, I was like, alright, that sounds pretty good. Like, this axe, I believe.
The Grady is actually played by Philip Stone, who was was Alex's dad in Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, that's mad. Mad film,
Kubrick film. Yeah, great fucking film. We leave the bathroom. Wendy is freaking out.
This way everything's just gone shit.
Yeah, it's all breaking down. It's all breaking down. Danny is repeating red rum, or Tony is repeating red rum.
Yeah, Danny's gone now.
Yes,
yeah, Danny's gone, and now it's just Tony.
Mm-hmm. That's what he says to him.
Yeah,
Danny's not here, Miss Torrance. And Jack destroys the radio, the contact between the hotel and the Rangers.
Yeah. That part is deadly. He's just it's like, you ain't leaving.
So then we get to Dick. He's traveling on the plane. You see his whole journey to the hotel itself. And while that's going on, Wendy goes down to the typewriter to see what Jack has been writing, and that's when we get the famous sentence.
all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yes, indeed.
And it's as many pages as the Bible.
Yeah, yeah. It turns out Jack has been wasting paper this whole goddamn time.
Yeah, sure, even actually, earlier on, leading up, you kind of see that's what he is writing.
Oh, really?
There's a scene, it just cuts to Jack writing and he's typing, but we know he hasn't typed anything through the whole film.
Yeah,
and it's the one scene where he's typing, so clearly that's the part where he starts just writing the all work and no play. I'll try and show you the scene again, but you'll see why, because it leads to him, I remember, being pissed off, and that's where, so even like before, even with the boiler and him having the mad dreams, so even when Wendy does come up to him, he's hiding everything from her. So another case you could probably say he was probably writing that from the first day,
from the go,
from the go, or the month in, like
after he started or stopped bouncing that damn ball. And Jack appears, and that's when we get the the scene with the baseball bat.
The part, even as well, because when she's checking, she's freaked out in our ears. I'm going, how do you like it?
How do you like it?
He's real, and she turns around, and then she's like this with the bat.
Yes.
And as I said, it looks like the scene with Woody with the pencil in Sid's room.
Yes.
Yeah. He goes like this. He's like, oh. And then the guy comes out with remember the roller thing in the hand? Just turns the flashlight off.
Speaking of, there's actually the carpet in Sid's house.
Well, that's why I think because the carpet is the same in his landing from the whole overlook. So guess they must have been like, that's a great film.
Is Andy's house 237 as well? It's a good.
I don't know. No, the book is 217.
Yeah, the book is 217, but the
but do you think they
Pixar specifically reference
Kubrick's? The real version.
Sorry, Stephen.
I think they only did that because the real hotel didn't want people not to stay in that room. They
didn't want to scare people, so Kubrick changed it to 37.
Because there was no 237 in the hotel, the Timber Pine Lodge in Colorado, I believe.
Imagine you did fly all the way over and you wanted room 237, and you're like, right, 237, like, no, that's not a room. Like, fuck you. It took me like 15 hours to fly here. You make it 237 now, lads.
Well, funny enough, because they do have a room 217 that is, as far as I know, a very popular room within the hotel.
Okay, that's cool then.
Did you know what the actual hotel that Stephen King based the Overlook on was called, though?
I don't know. It was like, I don't know.
So it's the one that's used in the movie is the Timber Pine Lodge. In I believe it's Colorado, or it might be Oregon. I'm not sure, but the one that Stephen King based it on is the Stanley Hotel. Which is that was Stanley Kubrick. Which is in, I think that one might be in Oregon. I'm not 100% certain. But that's also where they shot the TV movie, in that hotel.
Oh, is it?
Yes, yeah. Very different looking. But I think in both hotels, I think the 217 room is like the most popular room. Yeah.
Mad then, okay.
Yeah, obviously because of the books and the film. Jack has fully gone now, and Wendy tries to fight him off, cracks him on the head, and drags him to the freezer.
Even when he's going up to her, though, remember he's like, he does that, the Wendy light of my life.
Yes, Wendy, darling,
light of my life. But when he goes, give me the bed, and he keeps like,
sticking his tongue out and stuff.
Yeah, you're like, no, fuck off.
Or the Simpsons parody.
Scared to get.
Oh God.
Yeah, but like that it's deadly, and then he just fucking he goes down about 20 flights of stairs.
Yeah. He gets fucked up. He's dragged to the freezer. Wendy locks him in, and at first he tries, to Wendy, let me out, and I think you really hurt me.
Yeah,
but then when she says that we're gonna get out of here and get help, he tells her to go look at the snow
actually
cat.
sorry, just that scene before, that's actually such a good scene. Just when she goes, and when are you thinking of doing this, when they want to leave? And she goes, as soon as possible. And he's like, as soon as possible. Yeah, it's taking the piss out of her.
Oh, what a bastard.
Yeah. I felt like when you realise how much they treated her like shite through that whole film.
Yeah.
Like the Kubrick and all. Like I do.
I only heard about that today, actually.
Yeah, they're like.
She got treated like shit or something.
Do you know what's in the film? She's really happy, and later on, like she's just pure like the colours gone over her face. Stanley pure like.
Actually,
just let's take.
You just reminded me of something. Do you know the scene where what's the kid's name? Danny goes into the 237.
Yes.
There's a scene where she picks him up and she's like, "You did this."
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a doll.
That's the doll.
It's a doll. Yeah.
Is it?
You can see the hand. It's like a rubber hand, and it's like this.
Oh, that's the deadly.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay,
So
I didn't know that.
Kubrick didn't want Danny to be exposed to that kind of
Well, apparently he
stuff.
was very protective
Yeah.
of Danny when making the movie. Very nice to him. And that's what I was going to say when I was doing a bit of research for this. The behind the scenes stuff, it does seem like Kubrick was a notorious perfectionist and did have, we made the joke about the 5,000 takes, but he did do like a crazy amount of takes for scenes, like the scene with Danny and Dick. I think it was like,
I don't. If I was given them, I know it's like 50.
it was pretty high. And
It's a shot on film.
yes,
That was expensive as well.
Yeah.
And then like the scene, like I don't know fully. I just read something up about, it, but the scene where where Jack falls and downstairs. That's also a big scene. Like that's multiple takes
as well. Yeah.
Now I don't know the actual down the stairs part.
Yeah.
It's Tom Cruise doing it.
Mission Impossible.
Suddenly the same height as Danny.
But Tom Cruise on the tree. Diddle-din, Danny.
Tom Cruise on the tree.
Pulling a few weeds. But yeah, that scene.
Like the cruelty of Kubrick may have been overstated, because like in later years, like Shelley Duvall said that like he was nothing but kind, like he was great to work with, and
I
she
seen
loved
that,
me
yeah.
and stuff. I saw an interview with her. It was one of her last interviews, I think she did. And she said, "Yeah, no, I had a good time working with him." There was reports that like that he isolated her from the crew.
Made the crew like be mean to her. And
Yeah.
all, yeah.
Apparently, like there was rumors as well that he was like he also made the caterers on set like only feed Jack cheese sandwiches because they're like the one sandwich that he hates. So it seems like he was trying to kind of raise the
just piss people off.
Yes,
He just wanted the real emotion out of people.
Yeah, and like that's what when I was looking into it, like it's kind of hard to see. Like a lot of it seems to be like hearsay or things that have kind of blown up over the years.
Yeah.
To be like bigger than they actually were.
Or she said like like it's rumored that the theory that he done the moon landing.
Yeah.
But if it was really him,
they
did go on the moon. He would have flown the moon.
Yeah, he was known as such a perfectionist that he would, instead of faking it, he'd make them get to the moon so he could actually film there. But she really does like. It is in distress. Is like putting it lightly. Like she's absolutely freaking. So Dick gets to the lodge. He's at the lodge. He's checking to see where everyone is. And while that happens,
he's having a nice little stroll down the hall.
Yeah, Grady talks to Jack through the freezer door and tells him, he needs to fulfill his side of the contract, essentially.
Yeah, he's like, maybe we should have chose your wife for this. She seems to be stronger than you.
Tells him about the axe and helps him out of the freezer. Sorry, Dick doesn't exactly get here yet.
Dick's talking to his buddy, Apollo's manager at that stage. Yeah.
Yes, Apollo Creed's manager, Duke, played by Tony Burton. Tony Burton is his name. He was Duke in the Rocky franchise.
Yeah.
So Grady gets Jack out of the freezer. Wendy is sleeping and Danny writes red rum on the door. Yeah. And she wakes up, sees red rum in the mirror again.
What does he use to write it again?
Lipstick.
Lipstick, isn't it? Yeah,
red lipstick, yeah. She sees it in the mirror, freaks out, and that's when Jack starts to break in the door with the axe.
And he does that. Wendy, I'm home.
He's completely gleeful
he's real happy saying it. There's that like real happy husband that done his 9 to 5, and he's just like, and then he's more like, I'm gonna fucking kill the shit out of you.
Murder my family. Wendy and Danny hide in the bathroom. Wendy gets Danny out the bathroom window, discovers that she's too big to get out that same window and is stuck. And of course, the iconic line, Jack breaks down the door, pops his head in and says, "Here's Johnny."
Yeah, and then even her scream at that
her scream is great. It's that whole scene is just horrible.
Even like, do you know,
when terrifying.
When he keeps hitting the axe, like every time he hits, she's like, ah! Like,
yeah.
And I was like, she is gonna be turned into fucking cabbage, like shredded lettuce.
Oh yes, yeah. It's hard. And even when she says like when she's trying to get out the window,
yeah,
she's like, I can't get out. And Danny is they're just terrified. It's such a good
because like the first time I seen The Shining, I was lucky enough to kind of not know about The Shining like originally.
Yeah.
But that scene, because I only ever knew was the "Here's Johnny."
Yeah.
But the first time I remember saying it, like I do remember being like, I was like,
yeah,
I think he gets them. Like, I was just a little kid. I was like, oh, she's fucked.
But it really does show Jack's madness has taken hold. And that's when Dick arrives, and the sound of Dick and Wendy slicing Jack's hand with the knife causes him to go search for easier prey.
Yeah.
He kills Dick with the axe while Danny is hiding, and Danny again,
which is actually like it's the only murder of the film.
Yeah.
It's the only like murder.
Yeah.
And of course the shinning. Willie. So I remember he goes, "Oh no, the little fat boy's in trouble." Is that the best you can do?
But yeah, he absolutely murders poor old Dick, and Danny through the Shining sees it while hiding in a cupboard and screams, which gives away his location. And
even the way the music is in that scene is deadly. Yeah, and he's like, and he has the limp, and he's like, there, and then Danny's like, all right, time for me to fucking haul ass.
Yeah,
like
following him through the corridors. It's just
like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah,
same kitchen scene.
Just
a metal box that they're in, and then he
thank God there's the mirror in that scene when the Velociraptor runs into that, and she goes, ah!
Everything is a Shining now.
My car, my onion car.
It's one of those snowmobile things.
Well, the snow car. Yeah. But even the scene where when Dick is driving up to the Overlook.
Yeah.
And it's the same Volkswagen they were driving at the start of it, but it's the Volkswagen from the book.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a different colour and it flips upside down.
Yeah, it's the one that Stephen King done in his book, the red one.
Yeah.
So like that's where I think Kubrick was sure I had that. Fuck you.
But Danny runs into the maze. Jack chases him around, and like Danny cleverly retraces his footsteps to confuse Jack.
I love that. Yeah,
it's brilliant. Again, it shows I think how Danny is much more
but
aware.
Do you know what I like about that scene as well? Though is so as you said, the shine with the Overlook is only really between Danny and Jack.
Yes,
but they're not in the Overlook anymore, and then that scene is just all Wendy, and that's where Wendy's seeing all the shit. It's where the Shining's officially.
She starts seeing everything.
Like the Overlook has
it's full power.
Full power,
yes.
Yeah.
And when she's looking for Danny, she sees
another great party.
Yeah.
And then as you said, the dog bear man.
Yeah.
And he's like,
it's the first what's the thing?
The furry.
Yeah.
And like, she's bleeding. He's, you know.
we can say blowjob.
We can say blowjob.
Yes, we can say blowjob. I'm pretty sure. So he's slobbing on that thing, and Wendy's just seeing as I said throughout the whole film, she doesn't see any of this, and then the Overlook is at its full power. She sees. Does she see the twins?
No, she doesn't see the twins. So she sees the dead guy with the great party.
Yeah, he's what's his name? Herbert something. He was the original owner in the book
of the book.
Yeah,
okay,
of the hotel.
Because great parties in the book. Yeah.
Then the guy getting the blowy. Then we see the skeletons.
Now it's weird because the version I watched the version, and it's not fully in it. I know there's
that scene isn't in the European version. Apparently had a lot of cuts, and that's not a Duke from Rocky is also not in the European version. He was credited, but you don't.
No, but he was. That's the weird thing because I've seen.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's weird. Like,
oh well. So that's when I was looking it up, it was saying that he was was credited in it, but he wasn't in it. Now, unless again, you know how movies are, they probably have 5 different versions of the same.
No, but you know what? I think the skeletons are in the version I've seen, but I think they shortened the scene.
Oh, maybe.
I think
maybe.
It doesn't fully go into it. But aside from that, sorry. So it's the green party. The dog giving some fellatio, an old trouser friendly kiss, and then after is the spooky cobwebs.
Yes, yeah.
That scene that was gas because like the way all the stuff that's going on, and then it shows her seeing the skeletons. Just reminds me of when Homer, when the apocalypse happens and he gets in the hearse and he looks back and he goes, a coffin, where everybody's dead. Like at that point, if I seen skeletons, I'm like, okay, like
yeah, it's kind of like, oh, okay,
yeah, oh. This room's quiet.
You gotta show me that first. That would have been
that room is the ballroom, isn't it? Oh, not the ballroom. The room where Jack was writing.
The room where Jack is writing. Yes,
yeah.
The hall. Yeah.
And as you said, which is very funny, the whole film, she can't open a door or lock a door.
Oh my
She's
God.
freaking out, and then when we get up to the scene then where, as you said, Danny runs out.
Yes, after he's made his escape from the maze, he's confused Jack, and he gets out to Wendy at the snowcat.
And it's a nice little moment. They hug each other and they know they're safe. But of course, one flick of the wrist and she opens the door.
Yeah, she's got it. It's character development. She's finally learned how to open a door.
Danny, I did it. And then it's like, all right, they're gone. And then Jack then is still going around going, Danny boy. And then he's freaking out. Like,
he's searching the maze. As they get away, you kind of start to see like more and more, or like you hear he's just completely losing the ability to speak. Like
he's all babbling and all. Which when you said that, I never thought of that. Like the way
he sounds, sounds like he's in reverse.
Yeah, like it's very like, as you said, like so earlier on, Danny knows that's not Jack.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, that it's him.
That whoever that is, the caretaker, is going.
Yes.
Because he didn't do his job of...
The possession is going, and it's Jack coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hard cut to the frozen body of Jack Torrance.
And then back again, where Jack is frozen, it's the same face he pulls when he has the first sip of the drink with Lloyd in the Overlook. So cool little thing.
Yeah, yeah. And we get to see some shots through the hotel, and then it goes to a picture of the old parties and stuff that were there, and zooms in slowly to a group picture on the 4th of July 1921, and in the centre is Jack himself.
Yeah, and he got taken by the Overlook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like him being reincarnated? Like, or
you know, I see it as like he gets taken in, and I think it's the cycle of basically the Overlook doing its job. And I think that is the caretaker role, though. I think that is something to do. I don't think it's like every caretaker job.
Yeah.
But I do think there's something to it. It's symbolic, and because of course the last guy that done it was like what, in the 70s or 75 or 4. Grady does it like 6 years before it, or wherever the way the year works. But he does it, and then that's why the whole like you've always been the caretaker. I think is always. You're not Jack.
Yeah.
Like you're the care. Like I think it's just the caretaker was the one that has been doing the killings, and that's what takes you over in the Overlook. And then, as we said, for Dr. Sleep, I don't want to ruin Dr. Sleep fully, but there is a scene in the Overlook, and Danny does the exact same thing at the bar with Lloyd, but the bartender looks a lot like Jack, and that's where the Overlook, I think, has taken him, and he's now
a part of the Overlook. Like.
He's now a ghost of the Overlook, and like that's the thing. Because as I said, I didn't think much of, because I seen a completely different film when I watched it last time, and then when I watched it with you, I enjoyed it more of like, all right, Dr. Sleep, because I watched Dr. Sleep after it and didn't like it because who directed Dr. Sleep again? Your man did like House of Usher and why'd you ask me this? His name is Beep.
Yeah, we'll cut it in later. But yes, he's done House on Haunted Hill and or the Haunting of Hill House. Sorry,
Haunting of Hill House. They're really good. Very good.
The Enfield Haunting.
Mike Flanagan.
Yes. He's a pretty good director.
If they ever remade The Shining, I think Stephen Ogg would be a great Jack.
Stephen Ogg. Who's Stephen Ogg again?
Trevor from GTA.
Oh yeah.
Oh god. Yeah,
I can see that.
Plays a good crazy person.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that.
I think I'd get, if I was to get anyone to play as Jack, I'd get Jack Nicholson
To come back.
Yeah. He's like what, 100 years old. Wendy, give me a cigarette.
I hope that got picked up. Was that you?
That was me. I didn't want to. I was gonna put my mic to it, but I was like, I feel like
no, you can do. Yeah,
this
we
could
have to
go either way.
Like,
pink mouth.
Oh, we have tape on them or something.
I'd be like,
true.
You know, Hasselhoff in Click. Audrey, did you put shit in my lunch?
So yeah, the film was filmed almost exclusively in England at the Elm Street Studios, where they built sets to look like the real place. A lot of the shots, the iconic shots, especially going through the hallways and stuff, were done with a Steadicam mount, which was only new at the time, which basically a mount that it separates the camera from the movement of the person, so like they can go over, say, rough terrain or uneven surfaces, but it keeps it steady. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
deadly.
And
it's like that. No, you see a camera on like a little cart, and it's in move.
Yeah,
it's similar to that.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, and it's weird. It has like that. It's like the way.
Gimbal.
like a chicken. Do you ever see like they have that thing where you can move its body in it?
Its head stays still.
Like
Yes, the inventor of the Steadicam, Garrett Brown, was actually heavily involved in the production of the movie of The Shining. When he had a tour of the set, and Kubrick seemed very interested in, using it in interesting ways. He wanted to be involved with the film.
You really did, like, especially like the shots of like Danny going around the overlook and.
Oh yeah, and following Jack through the maze as well. I think it's great. Actually, any scene in that maze is just
deadly.
It's so good. Yeah. It's so good. It's really like the visual aspects of the film really enhance the feeling of.
Yeah, I love like the way the
dread,
lights are like in the maze.
Yeah.
And he's running, but it's bright, but it's also still dark, and it's like
yeah, it's done like visually. I think the film, on every level, the film is a masterpiece, but visually it's breathtaking.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Another thing, along with the camera work, I think, and Rob, you've said it before as well, the music in the film, is what really enhances the feeling of it. The music was like, there was original score done by Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkind. Wendy Carlos, for those who don't know, she is a musician and composer, best known for electronic music and film scores. She did the film for this. She did the score for Clockwork Orange, and she did Tron as well.
Yeah.
She came to fame with Switched On Back, which was renditions of Bach's music done on early synthesizers. She helped the development of the Moog synthesizer with Robert Moog. She gave him feedback on different things that she wants added. She was actually the one who told him to put in the touch sensitive keys to give a better feedback to the and the pitch changer as well.
Pitch wheel, like.
That's her.
She told him to put that in as well. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, because like I seen how I ended up copping who she was. I think I put like it was on Spotify, and it was like pioneers of synth.
Yeah.
And like she came up. But then when you said with her and The Shining, and I started looking up, and I was like, oh shit, that's like, I wouldn't have known. You know what I mean? I never knew Wendy Carlos until this film.
Yeah, no, she's absolutely she's iconic. But her, she composed like a lot of music for the film, and only two pieces were used.
The Mountain and the
main theme. Yeah. She said when her and Elkind got to the studios, they were shown the first version of the film. She said the film was a little on the long side. There were great gobs of scenes that never made it to the film. There was a whole strange and mystical scene with Jack Nicholson discovering objects that have been arranged in his working space in the ballroom with arrows and things. He walks down and thinks he hears a voice, and a ghost throws a ball back to him. None of that made it into the final film. We scored a lot of those. We didn't know what was going to be used for sure. And she said after having something similar happen to her on A Clockwork Orange, she vowed never to work with Kubrick again.
No way.
Yeah. Even her and Elkind actually considered suing Kubrick, but there was no actual formal contract in place, so they just reluctantly accepted it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like researching the music on it, because like it is very important in it, but it was a bit hard to find stuff. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So it turns out the actual soundtrack, when it was released initially on LP, it was taken off the shelves fairly soon afterwards because Kubrick never got the licensing for a lot of
that thing. That's actually a song.
Yeah, the main theme is a redo.
like a prayer song or something?
Dies Irae, yeah, it was. It's an old Gregorian funeral dirge, but the version that Wendy Carlos kind of remade was Dies Irae from Symphonie Fantastique by Hector Berlioz, and I listened to it. It's very similar to it, like, but yeah, obviously her and Elkind totally remade it, but there was other songs used in the film that Kubrick didn't get licensing for.
Jeez, that's weird.
So,
isn't it?
yeah.
So Clockwork was after Shining, was it? Or was that before?
Clockwork was before. Yeah,
it was before.
Yeah.
Okay. As
far as I know, it was. Yeah, wasn't
I
it?
thought it was like 70 something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Shining
no,
was
no.
1980.
Well, that's what I mean. Sorry, like it was before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but I was gonna say it's weird because he did get licensing for. He gets licensing for a lot of things. It's weird.
Yeah.
Didn't.
It's not that they just say no. It's they ask for too much money.
Oh,
not in the budget.
Yeah, he's probably like, fuck this then. Yeah.
If someone, if the guy whoever made that sound file, if he approaches someone's like, yeah, give us $6,000, we'd be like, all right, we'll never use it again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Yeah, sure. That's like even what was it? The lads from It's Always Sunny actually said the most expensive thing they ever bought was the Ghostbusters music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they paid like $80,000 for it.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what they said. Like they didn't give that as the exact number. I think but they said it roughly around 80 grand because they didn't know, but they were gonna make that new film.
Well, the soundtrack itself like is strange because there's some pieces from the film that weren't actually in it when it was released, and then some pieces that are in it were only small bits in the film. You know what I mean? Like they were only a small snippet in the film, but they included the full bit on the soundtrack. So, yeah, it's a strange one. Wendy Carlos did actually go on to release her whole, a lot of like most of I don't know if it was all or pretty much all of the work that she had done on a separate album like years later.
Oh, deadly.
So that would be interesting to.
I'll give that a listen.
To look into if anyone is interested in scores of films.
Did you see anything like I remember seeing was like there was a lot of like stuff with the music that Kubrick didn't want in the film, and he had to be like persuaded, like with the scene with Danny's like on the trike, and even like I think it's like a gong or something goes off, and that's when the two girls are there and Danny freaks out, but like they want like. Kubrick supposedly only just wanted the trike, like the noise of the trike.
The noise of it itself.
Yeah, and then him to turn to like nothing, just to that, or I think, or to a bit of a like whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole lead up to that, I can't remember because I did read it. I was watching some interview about it. And it was pretty good. I'll try and find it later. I don't know exactly. You know what I mean, it's been a while since I've seen.
Well, when I was reading about it, the scoring for the it seemed like Kubrick actually gave over a lot of control to the guy who actually did it. He just let him.
That's why, but originally he didn't. The man had to. Like,
oh really?
Have to, that's why it's whatever they did. Because I seen like he's another reason why they think the film is so good. Like, well, this film, the thing I've seen, the person that was talking about that video says like a lot of film you'd give because of the guy that Kubrick gave permission to, because originally he didn't want it, and then I think your man had to persuade Kubrick to be in like. No, look, this will work. Like, you know what I mean? And he did.
There's also the end song, "Midnight Stars and You," which is the old ballroom sound. And I was listening to it because there's an album called "Everywhere at the End of Time." I don't know if any of you have heard about it. It's by an artist called The Caretaker.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, his real name is Leland Kirby. He's an English electronic musician. And this songs from this album got really big on TikTok maybe last year or 2 years ago, I think. Basically, it's old loops of ballroom music that are degraded over time, and basically
probably re-recorded and everything as well,
something like that, till eventually it's just noise and mush, and it's what it was made was to kind of show the progression of memory loss caused by Alzheimer's. It's an interesting listen. I definitely recommend it to people. It's pretty scary, but it always kind of reminded me of The Shining, and I looked it up, and his whole idea, Leland Kirby's idea of as the caretaker came about after he watched The Shining. Because he's done other
cool.
works before that album, Everywhere at the End of Time, of similar ballroom recordings that he degraded and played over and over again, and obviously that's where he got the name The Caretaker. But I thought that was it was a bit of a spooky moment when I was researching. I was like, oh, that's scary. But yeah, the full list of music is great from the movie. I'm sure, like most people our age, our first exposure to The Shining was actually through The Shining.
The Shining, yeah.
The Simpsons parody, which is 10 minutes.
10 minutes,
and it's we got to learn something, because they squashed that whole movie into 10 minutes, and we took like 2 hours to talk about it.
This podcast can only be on Blu-ray.
Yeah. This is going to be extended edition. Peter Jackson, eat your heart out. But it starts off great. It's the car journey again, up through the mountains. Like every hit is just a perfect comedic bit.
Do you know what it is? It's all
taking the piss out of the movie. Like,
so the film is what, 2 hours, fucking 20, 2 hours 30 or something, is it?
It's bang on 2 hours, I think.
It is. It's bang on 2.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Then the Simpsons do it in 10 minutes, and if you haven't, if you don't want to watch The Shining, just watch The Shining.
Yes,
and The Shining shows everything to it. Even like the scene, you remember a Tom when he's driving, was like, "Well, it's been a long trip, but we're finally there." And then Marge goes, "Did you lock the front door?" and he goes, "No." And then instead of the 1 month, it's just Wednesday. And then he goes, "Did you do the back door?" No.
Cut again.
And then we forgot
Grandpa at the gas station.
We forgot Grandpa.
What about Grandpa?
What about Grandpa?
They make they cut fucking, so Mr. Burns and Smithers
takes the beer.
Take the hotel. They take the beer and cut the cable, and he's like, "Mr. Burns, don't you think that if this is doing this has caused the last murders?"
Yeah, and then Mr. Burns goes, "Well, if you're right about this one, I'll get you a Coke."
But showing around the hotel, and they get to the elevator, and it opens up. It's just a perfect. Like, oh, that's strange. The blood usually gets off at the 3rd floor. And what does, I can't remember what they exactly say about the. He's describing all the atrocities that have been at the hotel, and he says, and it was also the filming of 3 John Denver Christmas specials.
John Denver.
But just every beat is there. Willie is the caretaker, or is plays for Dick Halloran, and he has the shitting.
Sure, even that part. Remember when he goes, he Bart chainsaws through the whole mess, and then Willie's like, that's where he does it in his head, and he goes, his father's gonna kill them all, and he goes, make haggis out of him, and he goes,
what's haggis?
And he goes, you got the shitting.
Don't you mean shining?
Yeah. Hey, you want to get sued?
Oh, it's so fucking good.
But everything about that, and then even it goes to, as we said earlier on, the no beer, no TV
makes Homer go something.
But even the part where Marge goes up, and what does she say again just before she checks the thing?
So it goes first. They're in the living quarters, and they Homer turns on the TV, and he says, "No TV, that's strange." Opens the fridge and there's no beer, and he's like, "No beer." It gives me more room to think or something.
Yeah, and then Marge goes, "I'm so proud of how you reacted to this. I'll kill you. I'll kill you."
Instantly snaps.
So there, 20 minutes.
leaves the room. He's see you later. Goes to the bar. And of course we see Mo.
Yeah, he does that. He goes,
Homer.
With the bar, he goes, Mo, give me a mirror. Not until you kill your family. And then when he goes, they'll be better in the past in the next life. And he goes, but you don't see him happy. And he goes, oh, I'm happy. La 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 la. Now waste your family. I'll get you a beer.
So yeah, Marge goes looking for him. She finds the typewriter, and she says, his writing will be a window into his thoughts. Yeah. Feeling fine.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's a reference to something, but I don't think we're American enough to get it.
Feeling fine?
I think. I could be completely wrong on this. I think it's like an old greeting card or something, or calendar or poster, like that hang in there, baby.
Oh, okay.
Or I could just be talking out of my ass. But then the thunder flashes and it's written all over the walls. No TV and no beer makes Homer go crazy.
I love it as well because his hair is like Jack's.
Yeah,
Like, his hair is kind of like...
Hello.
Yeah. Don't mind if I do. And then with Marge, what was it? She puts him in the refrigerator.
Yes.
And then cuts them out, and he's like, me and the other ghouls.
Me and the other ghouls.
I don't think you have it. And then he takes him out, and then Homer does the "Here's Johnny."
Yes.
To about 7 different rooms.
So that's something that I didn't get until later on in as I was older, because so that was Jack Nicholson improvising when he did it. It's redoing the opening to the Johnny Carson's show, where it says, "Here's Johnny."
Yeah.
So Homer does that initially, and the room is empty. So then he does another one, and he said,
"I'm David Letterman."
David Letterman.
My grandpa said, "Hi, David."
And then the next one is he does the intro to 60 Minutes, which is a news program in America. And that's where they are. All this in 60 minutes. But I didn't understand that after I knew that "Here's Johnny" was a reference to The Shining.
Yeah,
but I didn't realize that it was a reference to late night comedy or late night shows in America, because then I was like, I don't know who the fuck is David Letterman? I always thought he said David Walleran.
Yeah, I had a clue. All I knew was the "Here's Johnny" and then the dough, and then the part where Homer does that. The 60 Minutes I knew, but I didn't know what 60 Minutes was.
I thought he was just saying different names at that point. After the Johnny, he was like, David.
And I thought because he's running out of time, he takes out the little stopwatch.
Yeah.
And then they just haul ass. Like.
But yeah, the shinning is just amazing. If for some reason you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah. And weirdly, I think it is, well, it's not my favourite, but it is up there, but it's probably one of the best trios of horrors as well.
Absolutely it is. Yes,
it's what is it? Trios Horror 5, isn't it? Because that's the one where it has the shinning,
the toaster goes back in time, or
Maggie.
Yeah.
It is this is a disturbing universe indeed. Yeah. And then the teachers eating the students.
Yeah. God, we need to do a Simpsons episode as well. That's
definitely.
But it's not the only parody. It's been, as I said in the beginning of the episode, like it's been referenced.
Randy Marsh with the charposters.
Yes, Randy going through.
And Shettley's like, just go back to trying to kill him, Dad.
Yeah, it's so good. Like I think every. Like even like Slipknot did a version for their Spit It Out music video. 30 Seconds to Mars did a version for their The Kill music video, which they do. I didn't never copped. All the twins are in. There's loads of twins in that music video as well.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is probably about the mirror images and all that. Yeah. But in every parody of it, you can really see like. They're definitely these people, whoever made them, loved The Shining completely. Definitely. Like it's done with definite love. So the Grady girls, the positioning of the Grady girls in the hallway scene, do bear a resemblance to a photograph by Diane Arbus called Twins. You can kind of see it is two girls just standing beside each other holding hands.
Just like my girlfriend and our sister with their kids. Yeah.
But Diane Arbus, Kubrick had met her like personally and studied photography under her during his time as a photographer for Look magazine in the 40s. Kubrick's wife said he didn't deliberately model the Grady girls off that photo, but it does.
I do see it.
You can see it.
Yeah.
But there was another photo that Kubrick actually took during his time working for Look magazine of two deaf girls wearing hearing aids. I'll include all these pictures obviously in the YouTube video of the version of this podcast. And the two girls, I think their clothing very much resembles the girls more. And if you'll notice in that photo, they are looking in a mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Also, the two girls they're not twins. And in the movie, it says...
Yes, there's two daughters and they're 9 and 10.
They're not twins.
They're not
but
twins,
then they were played by twins and are obviously twins. On a separate note as well, I found Arbus had another photograph called the Wax Museum Axe Murderer from 1960. And if you kind of look closely at it, the guy in it looks a bit like Charles Grady.
Yeah, he does actually, yeah.
That is a chopped up.
That or the manager from our pub.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it is just a guy with a balding hairstyle, so it's not exactly
but still
rip off, but it's a guy having chopped up his wife in a box. Throughout the film, I did notice and Rob, you pointed it out to me. I'm sure lots of people pointed out there's a lot of references to Native Americans.
Yeah.
From the artwork in the hotel, the cans of baking soda or baking powder in the fridges have a Native American in a headdress.
Wendy's jacket,
is very much Native inspired. There's lots of
the thing Jack's throwing on the
the big mural. It's Native women picking corn by the looks of it, or maize, I suppose it would be back in the day. And this is exclusive to the movie. The hotel is said to be built on an Indian burial ground.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought like that overall, like there's a lot of references to American colonialism in the film.
Yeah.
And it kind of sent me off then when Jack is initially is at the bar talking to Lloyd. He says, "Oh, the white man's burden," and he kind of just says that as a joke about drinking, being hard work.
Yeah.
But The White Man's Burden is actually a poem by Rudyard Kipling, who wrote The Jungle Book. And it talks about how the white race should go out and civilize the world through imperialism and colonialism. And that poem specifically was actually about the US and how they should annex and colonize the Philippines.
You blow my mind. That is like, oh my God, that's fucking deadly.
With that as well, like it's throughout the film, you see kind of like that. You see the guy getting the blowy off the furry, the dead guy at the July 4th party. It's kind of built on like the reason the hotel, like the hotel is haunted because so much death has happened here.
Yeah,
like there was a reviewer who said like he thinks of the elevator full of blood as all the blood of the Native Americans that died on the land there, and.
But that's on the third floor.
Well, that blood usually gets off on the third floor. But I think that's a big difference between the book and the film, because I thought, it's just a lot of evil has happened here, and so like the spirits and stuff are what the evil. But in the book, the hotel itself is an evil entity, like.
Yeah.
It's not like all these murders happened here, so the hotel is haunted. Yeah. The hotel was evil.
Because it closed.
It's like the wear car from Futurama.
Yes, yeah.
Like the Walmart. Yeah. But no, see.
Oh, no, that's South Park, is it?
Yeah, South Park, the Walmart.
The wear car from Futurama.
Oh,
it's like an object that's haunted.
Yeah. But the room itself, and in the book, at the end, when that's a big difference between the book and the movie. The Overlook is destroyed. It's blown up. Jack breaks out of the possession from the hotel and blows the hotel up.
Yeah,
with the boiler.
Yeah, like he's he has this moment as well in the book where like he's wherever he's threatening Danny, and all he keeps kind of saying is like, take your medicine. That's all he keeps kind of saying, and then Danny is talking to his dad, and then Jack comes back, kind of thing, and like tells him to run. Like, you can see like where he's fighting that possession, as you said, like like Jack even from that book into the film is so different.
Yeah, well, that's and when he blows the hotel up, it's like there's an actual Danny looks at the fire and there's like a pterodactyl like creature that flies out of the hotel. Like that's like the spirit of the evil entity, because like Stephen King's books have a lot of weird just evil shit in it, like Pennywise, of course, as most people know. Pennywise is like most people see him as the clown, but he's like an interdimensional being from outer space, like an old god kind of thing that landed on Earth. Randall Flagg, who's in the Stand, he's like another evil being, and they're all related to like the Crimson King from the Dark Tower series, which is like a evil
McConaughey
god. McConaughey works for the Crimson King, and
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba is the gunslinger, isn't he? Yeah. As far as I know, the Crimson King is the father of McConaughey's character, whose name I can't remember, and Pennywise. Like they're siblings.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen like It?
No.
Like it's like even like the Tim Curry one and all, but the end of the film, like Pennywise
turns into like a giant spider alien.
He looks like the cockroach from Men in Black, like a big one.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
But also, just as the hotel is evil, an evil building, the room, 1408.
Yes, with John Cusack.
Yes, yeah. That was a short story written by King as well, and again, people say that the room is haunted, and but it's actually the room is evil, like it's an evil room.
Evil, yeah. Did you ever see that film?
No, I don't think I've ever seen that one. No. It always just looked kind of.
I've seen it twice. I don't even know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I got like extra vision when I was younger, and I remember being like, "This film's shit." I'll watch it again. Like.
As well, during my research for the film, I was kind of thinking of like, because Danny's name Daniel is a Hebrew name. I was like, is it a biblical reference? I wonder if that's what Stephen King was going for. And when I did look it up, Daniel is a biblical figure. He is the main character of the Book of Daniel. Shocker. You might know him as the guy who was thrown to the lions for praying to God, and an angel saved him by making the lions not eat him. And he survived. He was considered,
Tony.
Yes, Tony saved him. Yeah. That's actually a good one. Yeah, it was the angel Anthony. No, it wasn't. No.
The angel Anto. He's coming around the corner, you bollocks.
Oh God.
The headphones on his dead.
On your heels, Danny.
He's going around the corner.
Oh God. But in the Bible, Daniel was a prophet, and in a lot of the stories he interprets dreams for the king, and he receives apocalyptic visions. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like he was a bit of a seer, and Danny in the movie is a seer. He served. He was a Jewish noble who was taken into captivity by Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon, and he served the king and his successors up until the time of the Persian conqueror Cyrus the Great. Now there was another Cyrus in history, Cyrus the Younger, who wanted to overthrow his brother, who was the king of Persia at the time, and so he hired a lot of Greek mercenaries. 10,000 Greek mercenaries to come and help him overthrow his brother. Now, they won their first battle, but Cyrus died, so these 10,000 didn't have any reason to stay, so they had to get back from Persia to Greece, all the way through enemy territory. And these warriors eventually made it to the sea, and it went on to inspire the story of the Warriors, which is going to be our next episode.
Wait, who are the Warriors?
What a film. I've just one more thing as well. It was my first time watching The Shining with you the other day.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Very, very good film.
Very good.
Very good. Like, you could pause it at any moment and, like, it's a work of art. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. It really is. It's really good.
There's so much meaning to everything. Like, even recording now, like, we could easily go another fucking 2 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially with Jack. Jack he steals the show, the film, and he's...
I think everyone in it does a great job.
Incredible job. I think everyone does a great job in the film. As I said, the show, like, who distraught Danny is, how angry Jack is, and just fucking Wendy
how much
losing her soul, and how much she can't open a goddamn door.
Like, slippery around there.
They were real fake doors.
Real fake doors.
Oh no,
Daddy.
Maybe it was frustrating for everyone. That's why Jack just took a fucking axe to them in the end.
He was sick of opening the doors for her.
Who keeps putting olive oil on the handles?
Olive oil.
Oh.
Yes, for those that don't know, Wendy played Olive Oil in the live-action Popeye movie.
Oh dear. My hero.
Right, we're getting away with ourselves now. So that's a
been
goodbye
a
from me.
Goodbye, listeners.
Bon nuit. Bon nuit to you all.
Hey, this is Chris from the Halfpenny Volta podcast. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. See you in the next one.